Everyone. I love the diversity, I love the pluralism. There's so much energy in here. I'm very honored to be here. Usually I don't write things down, but I thought I'd better this time because I want to give you a comprehensive image of my story. But believe me, it's from my heart. Many thanks for the lovely introduction. I'm very, very humbled by your lovely words. I'm honored to support, grow, and Tracy Berry and the leadership of every single woman and man who are bettering our society. I truly think that us as women, particularly minorities, we should be unapologetic about our success. Right, Marina? There are far too many stereotypes against women, particularly immigrant women. There are far too many women who are still struggling in societies where there is no gender equity. Believe it or not, some women are still struggling here in our home, in our society. Far too many women are unsung heroes, although they're achieving great things in their personal lives and professional lives and in society. Friends, as long as we have these untold stories, each one of us as a woman should highlight her story and the stories of the women in her life. By highlighting our stories, we are putting light not only on the women's ability and potential, but also on the opportunities that exist in this country. Many of us came from countries where these opportunities don't exist. We're also highlighting that women could do whatever they want. We're also highlighting that women have potential. We are debunking myths and breaking stereotypes. So I encourage each one of you to share your success story, but also I encourage you to be humble about your story. To always see yourself as a learner who continues to evolve. One of the qualities of the leaders of our days is that we continue to evolve. We need to see ourselves as learners. The world is changing. So if we want to make a change, we have to also change ourselves. Like leaders are lifelong learners. Whether at home, community, work, or business, I treat everyone with respect. I continue to learn from every single person in my life. My mom is not educated, who's over there. My in-laws, many people I love, many wise people. Every single day, I learn from them. I treat them with great respect. Talking about learning, I'd like to share with you lifelong learnings. I'm focused a bit on the challenges because I wanted to be useful to you and I wanted to share some of the things that I've overcome. But before I share that, I wanted to let you know, hi Janet, I wanted to let you know the reason why I'm here, the reason why I'm successful. It is because of the great people who supported me. It is because of the great people in the community. But I certainly had challenges. I've been in Canada for 23 years. I arrived to Canada at the age of 18. My story in Lebanon is one of mental, psychological, and physical resiliency. I survived the civil war, a war that killed many children and civilians, a war that ripped families and communities apart. I remember the days when we were hiding in shelters underground with barely any food. I remember organizing activities for the children and then pretending to be the teacher. We'll never forget the days when our moms had to go back to our home, second level, to prepare for us some food, and we were actually so worried about them. We would be on our knees praying so that they come back safely, because missiles could hit the home anytime when it was our moms. We'll also remember the days my dad had to go to work and was late about 5 hours, and we assumed that my dad was killed by a car bomb that killed hundreds of people. One night, my dad got abducted. He was taken out of our house by force. And then we were traumatized. We did not know that. We thought our dad is gone. We were lucky and fortunate my dad came back the second day. The more I reflect on my Lebanon story, the more I realize that what really helped us survive the hardship was the sense of community that we built together with our friends and neighbors in the shelter underground. When in the shelter together, we still found ways of singing, dancing, celebrating. We built a strong bond that kept us strong together. We were a community who was focused on survival. We had a common goal. But I couldn't help it. There were days where I was so hurt, so upset, so scared. I witnessed people getting beat up and hurt for no reason. They were even sometimes killed because they were weak, poor, vulnerable, or different than the majority. I remember the one day clearly, after a good cry that I'm sure lasted hours, at the age of 15, standing on the balcony. I was so angry. I looked at the sky and I promised God that the day I have money and power, I will use it to help the vulnerable, to fight injustice, and to promote human rights. My Lebanon experience shaped me for life. This beautiful country that has so many amazing qualities is still in the middle of my heart, but taught me the greatest lesson of my life. Since then, any situation of injustice motivates me to act. I will never sit or stand and watch, even if the closest people to me are not impacted. I will never watch an injustice, unfairness towards people. I will act. I feel it is my responsibility to act and ensure that the situation of unfairness and injustice does not happen again. I feel that it is my duty to protect the vulnerable where I can and ensure that individuals understand their rights. Each one of us has that responsibility. If I witness unfairness, I become the change, and I don't have to be impacted personally to act. So my advocacy for human rights and women started in Lebanon as a result of the hardship I witnessed. Maybe also my story of serving and giving started there. And this is why I have a strong desire of running for office and serving people in a larger scale. One of the most motivating words to me is no. When I'm told for no good reasons or for the wrong reasons that I cannot do it or I shouldn't do it, I work very hard to break that no and to show that no one can define me or stop me. Please don't misunderstand me. There are days where I listen to the no because I'm wrong. There are days where the no is well-founded, so I learn. I know when to follow and I know when to lead. This is an important skill that I have developed over time, and it's not easy. I truly see myself as an individual who listens, part of a system, part of a society. I need to move halfway and build win-win situations with community members. Speaking about networks, I have to tell you that what helped me get so many things done in my life are the networks that I have created in my personal and professional lives. Never underestimate the power of networks, even if in that network you have individuals you don't agree with. I arrived to Canada at a very young age, got married. I remember at my wedding, in fact, it was here at Fantasyland, there were 400 people. To this day, I still meet people who tell me, you know what, we were at your wedding. I don't recognize them. There's great energy. But people ask me, Vivian, how do you do all this? And how did you do all this as a newcomer? Honestly, my arrival and adjustment in this Canadian society is a story of hard work, perseverance, and learning. New to this country, barely spoke English. Google Translate did not exist. Did not do a good job either, you know? Arrived in June and hit the ground running. I remember the many times I had people hang up the phone on me because I refused sometimes I refused to kind of give up. And although my English was limited, I tried and I tried and I tried until they heard me, and I tried until I reached my goals. I also remember not wanting to share or ask my husband family members or community members because I was too embarrassed. But believe it or not, sometimes when I asked the questions, I did not get the answer. And I think I realized that sometimes the barriers are in our minds, in our community's minds, although they have very, very good intentions. But sometimes I think us as women, we shouldn't be doing that. So you don't necessarily get the answer. I did not always agree with my in-laws. I love my in-laws, they're great people. But I did not always agree with them. I did not always agree with community members, my welcoming community members. But they helped me be part, but they helped me by being part of the network that I needed in order to succeed. I knew my in-laws loved my husband, loved my kids. And I knew that I needed someone to babysit my kids. There are days where I went to work or to school crying because I did not agree with their raising habits. But they had big hearts and great intentions. But I kept focusing on my goal. Safe place for my kids while I'm working and building my education. So I was able to have my kids at the same time work and go to school. I will always credit part of my success to my in-laws, and I appreciate them very much. I work nonstop at the church, my welcoming community. I took the ladies' committee to the next level by creating a vision and a cohesive group. There are days where I was criticized because I challenged traditions, and sometimes I changed traditions. With all my respect to the great traditions, certain things I felt that we needed to evolve them and adjust them. There are days where I was in tears because I kept going. They did not realize the wonderful women there, who I love very, very much, that they were a very important network for me. When we organized events, my family were part of it. I taught my kids the importance of volunteering, and it was a fun and safe place for them. Most importantly, this network gave me a sense of fulfillment because I challenged myself and brought positiveness and cohesion. To be able to succeed in accomplishing the goals in these networks, I had to throw out certain values that were not compatible with the Canadian values. For example, what I learned in Lebanon, leading is basically being a dictator and telling people what to do. I learned that actually no, you lead by serving. I also learned through the collaboration and my welcoming community that it is important. The teamwork is very important. It doesn't take away from your own leadership and knowledge by teaching others. It's the opposite. Also, I learned the importance of volunteering. Back home, you only work and do things in the society if you're paid. I learned the importance of actually volunteering, because volunteering allows you to learn, allows you to also contribute, and it gives you the best sense, the best feeling of fulfillment. Although sometimes I did not agree, it was difficult, and it was very difficult for me. I did not allow for anyone or anything to define me, whether it was the Lebanese social norms, with all my respect to them, my husband, who I love very much, nor my welcoming community, although they were all very well-intentioned. I did not allow for anyone to distract me from my goals and my education. I did what I felt was right. I kept my eye on my education, my family, my community, and our future. Because I don't see my future and their future separate, our future. And I always appreciated and gave credit where credit is due. Education was key for my progress. I would continue to learn.